My name is Nano Nomaru, 28 years old. I work as an editor of mangas. I grew up in a household without much financial freedom, and I was raised by a single mother. While my friends my age were getting excited about the newest games, I understood my family's situation from when I was little, and I wasn't able to ask my mom for anything. My mom must have realized how I felt, and to at least give me something to enjoy, she gave me all of the mangas that she had stored at her parents' house for me to read. I'm sorry, Nano, I can't buy you any games, but… No, the mangas are so funny! Really? Well, the next time I'll bring more from Granny's house. From there, I became sucked in more and more to the world of mangas. Whenever I was reading a manga, I was able to forget about anything terrible that was happening in reality. Perhaps it was only natural for me to end up in work related to mangas as an adult. When I was job searching after graduating, I went around to every publisher that was producing mangas to get an interview. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get into any major publisher. However, I was somehow able to get picked up by my current company that publishes a monthly manga magazine. They were convinced by my passion towards mangas, and currently I am in my 5th year as an editor. I was right on the brink of grasping a really big opportunity, and I was working harder than ever every day. However, there was one person who insisted on getting in the way of my work. Nano, you look crazy. Are you okay? Are you sleeping properly? I'm busy, so please don't talk to me. Oh dear. Are you sure you can say that to me? As the manager of the ace of this manga department, also known as the daughter of the executive director, are you sure you want to speak to your highness Rena like that? Her name is Rena Yakamashi. She was the only person who joined the company at the same time as me. As I'm sure you have gathered already, her father was very powerful in the publishing company I worked at, and that's how she entered the company, through that connection. Ever since she was a new hire, she was favored, and last year she was placed in charge of our biggest author, who had already created multiple bestsellers. That only added to her already massive ego and attitude. All of the other teammates, including our bosses and our junior colleagues, were so scared of her backlash that they couldn't say anything. However, I wasn't the same. You're not wrong that you're managing the ace of the company, and that you're the daughter of the executive director. So what? Does that become a reason to get in the way of my work? I'm telling you to show some respect. You're the only one, that talks back to me so arrogantly like this. Why don't you at least go get me a coffee for once? Why should I have to bow down to my colleague? And who do you think you have to thank for this editing department to even exist? Who knows? If I had to answer, isn't it thanks to Mr. Ace that you're managing? In that case, you better respect me. Why should I? I don't know why I should have to respect a manager who doesn't even hold meetings properly. Excuse me? Did you think I didn't know? You're not even having any meetings with the author, are you? Every week you just send them some questions and receive the draft. It's almost amazing that you can claim the mangas are selling because of you. Knowing I hit the nail on the head, Rena started to visibly shake. Go ahead and keep barking, loser. If I wanted to, I could make a bestseller anytime I wanted. If you want to publish a bestseller, don't you think you need to properly face the work being submitted and do your job? That's none of your business. But then, Rena shifted her eyes to the draft that was on my desk. What is this? Did we have an author like this? It was a submission. What? Are they experienced? New. What? But they're way too good? The drawings are pretty amazing level, but the story… If they're this good, of course they'll be popular. They can't just be good at drawing and sell. That's too naive.
Hey, Nomaru!
Yes, well then I'm gonna go now. Such a big new author is a waste on Nano. With this, it's my turn.
By the way, Nomaru, how's it going with that promising young new author?
We're going back and forth about his titles online.
I see, they're not here in the city.
Yes, but we have plans to have him come over here, to have a proper meeting and talk about the work. We'll finalize the names then. We're going to submit them for the Next Best New Author Award. Please look forward to it. That afternoon, I was waiting for this new author to arrive for the meeting. However, even at the time we discussed, they didn't show up. I tried calling a few times, but it seemed like they had turned off their phone and I couldn't get through. I hope they're okay. I wonder if something happened. I was worried. However, 1 hour later, an unbelievable incident occurred.
Miss Yakamashi, thank you very much.
With your drawing skills, that new author award is an easy win. Let's work hard on the follow-up chapters as well. I was shocked as I heard a familiar voice, and when I turned around, Rena and the new author that I was waiting for walked out of the conference room. I ran over to the two of them as fast as I could. Hey, what's going on here? I was wondering why you weren't here for the meeting.
What? But my manager was changed to Miss Yakamashi, wasn't it?
Huh? What is this about? I got in touch with him. At that moment, I understood that Rena had framed me.
Man, I'm so happy. I can't believe that I get to be managed by the same person as that author of that MoniRobo.
Wait, that's not true. I'm still your manager and that hasn't changed. But also, we have worked together for over a year now. How can you change at this stage? But it looks like he would prefer me anyway. But why?
We've been working together for a very long time now, Miss Nomaru, but to be honest, we just keep on editing the titles, and I feel like you haven't understood what I really can offer.
I acknowledge how great your drawings are, but these days, the readers are looking for more detailed stories and...
But Miss Yakamashi said that with my drawings, it was more than enough to go through, and she said that she liked the story too.
Rena! How dare you!
Anyway, I would like for Miss Yakamashi to manage me, so please leave me alone.
Hey, wait! Well, that's that. Don't worry, I'll be sure to develop that boy into a definite bestseller. I went straight to the editor-in-chief to disclose what happened to him. However, because the new author himself was in favor of Rena, and because of her father's influence, my cries for help didn't stand a chance. And so, the tiger in training that I had been putting my blood and sweat and tears into developing was stolen right under me from Rena. With this, I really wanted to just quit my job. Even when I got to the office, I couldn't get myself to do any work, and all I could do was sit there with a depressing face. When one day, I came across a young man that was pacing back and forth in front of our office, holding an envelope. Can I help you with something?
Oh, I came here to make a submission, and I was told over the phone that someone named Miss Yakamashi would be taking a look at it today.
Her again, huh? I reluctantly called Rena to tell her he was here. However, she arrived and stormed over in a bad mood, and then started saying something ridiculous. Another submission? I hate to say it, but I don't have time to be looking at it, so can you leave?
What? But just the other day you told me that you would look at it today.
Things change, and I have a really important project on my hands right now, so I don't need you anymore.
But why?
Hey, you don't need to say it like that. If you made a promise, then you need to look at it. Oh dear. Well, if you feel so strongly about it, why don't you look at it for him? Especially since you were taken off the other author. You must be bored anyway. And whose fault is that? Well then, so long, farewell, bye-bye. At that moment, my depression immediately transformed into anger. You!
Yes.
I'll look at it. Let me see your draft.
You're gonna look at it for me? Thank you very much.
As if I'm going to give up that easily. My name is Nano Nomaru, and you are?
I'm Tezuka.
Mr. Tezuka, let me have a look. Let's see. This is...
How is it?
When I finished reading it, I went back to the beginning and skimmed through the draft once again. Is this the best you can do with the drawings?
Yes, I'm self-taught, and I guess that I'm not good enough, right? Is it?
To be honest, I couldn't say that the drawings were of high level. However, it is.
What?
Sure, the drawings aren't quite there yet, but the story is remarkable.
Really? Actually, that was a copy for just a read-through, and in reality, there's a lot more twists and turns within the series.
I would love to hear about all of that.
This is the story material.
This much?
In this day and age, I thought that all the stories would be made really in-depth, so that the reader can reread it multiple times and never get bored.
In the enormous story material, of course, each character had a detailed storyline, but he had also already thought of the story setting, even the history leading up to the beginning of the story. It was all written there. To be honest, there was enough there that any major publishing company would have gladly accepted his work. Thank you for submitting your work to us. I promise I'm going to get you published and make sure you debut.
Thank you very much. I was gonna submit these to the next Best New Author Award.
No, wait!
What?
Like I said earlier, I think your drawing skills have a lot to improve. I understand that you want to submit it as soon as possible, but if the story is this well thought out, I think you should sharpen your drawing skills and submit it under better circumstances. I stood up and pointed my finger at him. For 1 year, let's study drawing. I will support you.
1 year? All right.
From that day, Tezuka and I went to war. I gathered as many books and knowledge as I could for manga drawing and sent them to Tezuka, and as if to meet me halfway, Tezuka continued to draw around the clock. In the award ceremony that was presented during that time, as expected, the author that Rena stole from me won the Best New Author Award. I'm so sorry, Nano, for taking your achievements. His series has been approved, so I'm only going to get busier. Rena looked so proud as she flashed the draft in my face, but I already had the goal of making sure Tezuka could debut, so I completely ignored her. 6 months later, after receiving the Best New Author Award, he was able to debut a full series manga. Because our magazine was monthly, we were publishing 1 chapter every month. Because he was being managed by the executive director's daughter, the new author's new series was written about across all media platforms before the first chapter was even published. It was moving along as a major project. However, I told you this isn't enough.
But why not? This is the climax point.
This isn't about the drawing, it's about the story. You didn't see the reader's survey? It's only the 4th chapter and you're already 3rd from the bottom.
I just wrote it exactly how you told me to.
Recently, we could hear the voices of Rena and her author fighting frequently echoing through the office. But of course they were. The series that began with so much noise wasn't popular at all. And in the reader surveys, the story is boring. Only the drawings are good. I won't read it anymore. And the negative reviews were pouring in one after another. Rena was somehow trying to save it and was holding meetings days in a row. But since she had left all the story writing to her authors until now, there was no way that she would be able to give any decent advice. And it was obvious that she wasn't able to do any justice to his amazing drawings. On the other hand, as for Tezuka and me, yes, you really worked hard for this.
Thank you very much.
For 1 year, Tezuka had spent all his time solely on his drawings, and his skills had improved to a shocking degree. We were finally satisfied and submitted for the New Author Award. And of course, the result was...
The Best New Author Award this year has gone to Tezuka!
Yes! Wait, please! What now, Yakamashi? Sure, it's an interesting story, but I don't think that they can complete a whole series with this storyline. I feel like the story will end without being able to circle back to any foreshadowing. I think it's too risky to make this a series. Not to worry, the story is already completed until the last chapter. What?
What? Already?
And there are over 20 titles that we have already come up with. You're lying, right? After the meeting, I went straight to the editor-in-chief and handed over all of the titles and the story material.
This will definitely sell. No, this might become our bestseller yet.
I'll do my best to make it that way. When I got back to my desk, Rena stormed over to me. You better let me manage that guy. Excuse me? I mean, I was supposed to look at his submission in the first place, right? And you stole that from me. Who was the person who said they wanted nothing to do with it, told me to look at it, and threw it away? I never said that. I'm sorry, but I've already decided that I'm going to make him debut myself. Who do you think you are? With no connections and no authority, you need to know your place. And I don't want to hear the complaints of someone who has nothing but connections only. Are you kidding me? It was at that moment, after hearing about his award, Tezuka arrived to the office. And when Rena said that, she grinned from ear to ear and... Fine. Then why don't we ask him himself who he would prefer? Hey, Tezuka!
Yes?
Congratulations on the award! I knew that you would be able to get it.
Thanks?
So anyway, of course, only if you would want to. But do you want me to be your manager?
What do you mean, Miss Yakamashi?
You know, because I'm managing a lot of authors that are selling, right? So I'm pretty sure that I will be able to give you much better advice than Nomaru ever could. If you're going to publish a series, you want it to sell, don't you? In that case, you're much better off with me instead of Nomaru.
No, thank you.
But why? Oh, I know. You just feel obligated to her, don't you?
That's not the case at all.
You know, you don't need to hesitate.
I'm not hesitating.
Are you still mad about the time you came with your submission? At that time, I was just really busy, so I wasn't able to look at it for you. But honestly, I was really looking forward to reading your draft.
The only reason why I was able to make my debut was because of Miss Nomaru. That's why there's no need to change managers. If anything, I'd like to continue working with Miss Nomaru.
Are you sure you're fine with that? I'm the daughter of the executive director, so if I'm in charge of you, then you don't even have to dream about being in the media, you know.
Miss Yakamashi, you're in charge of the new manga series that just started recently, right? I do remember that there was a lot of media attention in the beginning, but isn't it being discontinued soon?
What did you just say?
The drawings are really amazing, but the storyline is pretty vague, and it's only the 4th chapter, but there were already some inconsistencies. How are you planning on ending it?
Of course I can't tell you that.
Well, that's also true, pardon me.
By the way, how are you planning on changing your story? If you want, I can give you some advice.
There's no way I'd be able to tell the rival editor that, right?
Fine. Why don't you do what you want? There's no way a manga managed by someone like her is going to sell. You're both going to fail together. Right after that, Rena was called in by the editor-in-chief, and she huffed and puffed as she stormed away. Once again, congratulations on your award.
Thank you very much. This is thanks to you for telling me to wait 1 year.
Well then, shall we start our meeting about the whole series?
Yes.
A few months later, Tezuka made his manga series debut. In the beginning, of course, we were far from the wide attention that Rena's series received, but the readers were carefully watching. Since the beginning of the first episode, Tezuka's manga continued to maintain a position in the top 3, and 1 year later, he had joined the rankings as one of the most popular authors. On the other hand, as for Rena, thanks to her father's power, she somehow was able to continue her series, but the result of the reader survey was always a disaster. Because they spent too much time on trying to fix the storyline, the highly praised drawings started to get messier, and even the author himself was losing a lot of weight. At that time, another incident fell upon Rena.
What? You want to change managers?
The ace author of the publishing company, the creator of MoniRobo, nodded his head.
Ever since she was placed in charge of me, everything is just administrative, and I don't feel anything new. All she does is tell me the results of the reader's survey, and she doesn't even do the breakdown of it all. I believe that a manga is created hand in hand between the author and the editor. My relationship with Miss Yakamashi is far from my idea.
Yakamashi, come here!
When she heard the situation, apparently, Rena desperately tried to convince him otherwise, but he had already made his decision, and Rena is taking off as his manager.
By the way, the draft that I gave to you, you've been holding on to it properly, correct?
Well, of course, right, Yakamashi?
What? Yes, of course.
I wanted to give back the original full-color draft that I made right after you were placed in charge of me, but since I'm here today, I can just take it over with me now.
What, today? Now?
I'm pretty sure that it was the 9th episode from 2 years ago. You can find it quickly, right?
It was the standard to save all drafts that we receive in chronological order. So, as long as you knew when it was from, it should be very easy to quickly pull it out. Depending on the author, when a series was finished, there were some people who would request that the drafts be returned. So it was one of the most important standards to preserve them properly. However, Rena continued to reply with inarticulate answers. I'll go look for it, so can you please wait a moment? Rena rushed over to the cabinets that the draft were held in, and with her face completely pale, she started digging through the drafts. Hey, why is it such a mess? Nano, help me! I can't find the full color draft! You weren't storing them properly? After I copied them, I was just throwing them into here. Are you stupid? In the end, the draft wasn't found. Go apologize now. Why should I have to apologize? It's unbelievable for an editor and manager to lose an original draft. But then, Rena picked up her cell phone and started making a call. Hey, before you get on the phone, go apologize first. Everything is fine now. Daddy is going to take care of it for me. What? I couldn't believe it. Not long after, Rena's father, the executive director, arrived and began speaking to the author of MoniRobo, who was waiting for his drafts. What he said was shocking.
About that draft, once we received it, it becomes our company property. So I'm afraid that we can't return it to you.
That doesn't make any sense. I was told I'd be able to receive it after the series was finished.
Unfortunately, that was just a show of goodwill. But in reality, the draft is a part of our company property now, and we have no obligation to return it to you.
Are you telling me that you've lost it?
As if. Of course we have it, right, Reina?
Of course! What the executive director was saying didn't make any sense. The author of MoniRobo was past his limit at this outrageous attitude. He abruptly stood up, and the author stormed out of the room. And then, 1 month later...
Yakamashi, the author of MoniRobo, he's suing our company and taking us to court.
What?
And he was also saying that he'll be changing publishers. How do you plan on taking responsibility for this?
A popular author suing his publisher became huge news and was widely covered across the media, and an investigation was launched to the full management team of our editing department. However, since all of the editors except for Rena were doing our jobs properly, the people who ended up being ridiculed were Rena herself, the person responsible for the department, the editor-in-chief, and, finally, the person who set fire to this entire commotion, the executive director. Daddy, what do I do?
Calm down. Your dad's gotta take care of this, okay?
We'll be having you resign from your position.
Sir?
I bought into your act, but when it comes to our daughter, I never imagined that you would go off the road like this.
Please, wait. First of all, isn't this the responsibility of the editor-in-chief who's neglecting his department?
Of course, we'll also have him take responsibility. However, ever since your daughter entered our company, it seems that you've been putting a lot of pressure to forcefully change managers for different authors, or to silence editors who had brilliant new talent stolen from them. Isn't that right? And because you insisted, we put an enormous budget towards the new series that's on the verge of being discontinued, even though we wanted to put more attention toward Tezuka's new series.
Are you kidding me? Even though that's being managed by Nano? You're going to give someone like her attention?
It looks like you messed up with raising your child. And I hate to say it, but both of you gotta pack your belongings and leave.
No, wait, sir, please, Mr. President!
Nano, you need to help me. Huh? Weren't you fired already? Shut up. I'm going to get back from here and come back on top. Yeah, good luck. Don't say it like it has nothing to do with you. You need to let me borrow the power of your little author Tezuka. I don't understand what you're saying. If we team up with Tezuka's storyline, we would be invincible, right? I thought so too. Right? So please just write one draft. Oh, but we won't say the name of who wrote it. Huh? Because otherwise it wouldn't be my achievement, right? Even in this situation, I guess you're still not going to change. Shut up! Someone like you shouldn't talk back to me. But your daddy that you were always bragging about was fired along with you, right? How unfortunate that your most prized connection is gone. I can do this without my daddy anyway with my own abilities. Well then, can you not ask me for help? I'm telling you that I will let you work with me. You should go back inside your mom's stomach and start over. What is that supposed to mean? Nano? Hey! Nano! And so I blocked the self-obsessed monster. Even after that, Rena tried to fake her way around. But in the end, the draft was never found, and she was chased out of the company. Apparently, she tried to get another job as an editor at a different company. But this is a very small industry, so across the board, they told her that they could never hire somebody that would lose an original draft, and she was rejected. Of course, the series that Rena was in charge of was discontinued. Our company was able to make up with the author of MoniRobo, but they weren't able to stop him from changing publishers, and our magazine ended up losing one of the biggest pillars we had. For that reason, Tezuka's series, who was just starting to gain popularity, became even more important than ever, and we were given a bigger budget to push his work. As a result, his career kept going up, including an anime version of his work being planned. Tezuka was working extremely hard every single day, but he was so brilliant that even in that time, he was thinking of new stories. And one day, he came up with something that we knew was the one.
I wish I could draw it, but to be honest, I can't do double works right now.
At that moment, it hit me. Why don't we present this as an original work? With Tezuka's approval, the person that we presented it to was, of course, this person.
Are you sure that you're okay with someone like me drawing it?
Have some confidence. Everybody agrees about your incredible drawing skills.
But after I betrayed you once, Miss Nomaru, thank you very much. I'll do my best.
And so, Tezuka's second work and his second series was set to begin. The marriage of Tezuka's storylines with the super professional level drawing instantly became a bestseller. As the editor in charge of both works, I was of course thrilled. But, sir, my hands! This time, I don't have enough of any of it. It goes without saying that I'm crying happy but busy tears every day. However, my childhood dreams were all coming true, and I am very grateful for that. I'm so glad I worked hard and believed in myself, and I hope from now on I can help other people dream through mangas as well.